So the Biden administration, and yes, I'm using my new microphone. I'm excited. I love this. Oscar Josue Montiel, good friend of the show, bought it. Not for me. I wish. Jeez, Oscar. And sorry for the noise. There's people upstairs still. And they just keep doing it. I know I just got really close to the mic, but I had to do it. So, but Oscar Josue Montiel bought it for himself, and I said, there's no way that Oscar can have it besides me. Nope. Okay, so here we go. So India and South Africa are in huge trouble. They specifically India is having such a high rate of cases of COVID that they are in desperation right now. And the one thing you need to know is all the big pharma companies are here in the United States. Most of them, right? Or they do business out here most of the time because of the tax incentives. So now they're better than the Cayman Islands and everybody everywhere else, which is why the rich goes out there. But India is having such a problem that they've now come to the United States for pretty much all the help, right? So here's what's going on. So they went to South Africa and India, specifically went to the World Trade Organization and introduced what's called the TRIPS waiver. What is that? It's basically a measure that would waive the rights of these companies and their patents. Basically the patent rights. Because what these companies did was when all of them went out and bought all of the rights to the vaccine. Okay, sounds fair. They made the vaccine, right? Well, now these companies can basically sue India and Africa. Oh, hey, there's a screw to the mic. You can see it, but anyway, they can sue possibly. They can sue India and South Africa if they make any generic version of the vaccine. They can say, well, you can't do that, so we're going to sue you. And they can win. Why? Because it's their vaccine. Well, this has created a problem. And basically, everyone was thinking, oh, does Biden support it? Does Biden support the TRIPS measure? And then it came out yesterday that, yes, he did. But then they released a statement saying, the Biden administration, oh, well, we support the WTO, the World Trade Organization, and we look to actively participate in negotiations with these two countries and with the the World Trade Organization, the WTO. Okay, so let me break this down. Okay, so this means a couple of things, right? Number one, it means, yes, they support it and they're just going to go and talk to them. Number two, they don't support it and they think it's a problem that South Africa and India are asking for this. Or number three, what I think it's most likely is they're negotiating with India or with India and all of them in order to get Big Pharma a cut of what's going. I'm just hearing dogs barking. It's like, what? But so they want Big Pharma to have a cut of everything. So the goal apparently is they want to get Big Pharma 15% commission or a cut of every vaccine that is made, sold, delivered, injected into people's arms, everything. So is this a step in the right direction? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm glad that they're talking about it, but I don't know if it's a step in the right direction because this is pretty much what happens. Big Pharma owns our government. They own them. Point blank. So now the headline was again misleading, and this reminds me of all the other headlines. Remember the Buy American executive order? It was like, oh my God. Yes, go, do it. And then it turns out it was all measly and gross and it only improved things like 2%. And then remember the private prisons where it only forgave the Justice Department private prisons? It only got rid of those, but not the ICE detention facilities that are like prisons, that are like 67% of all private prisons in this country. He didn't get rid of those. And then remember the student loans. They said, oh, he forgives student loans. And you're like, yes! And then you think, like, you look at it, and then they're not being honest because they're the press and they like Biden, not Trump. And they're like, it comes out that he only forgave less than 1% of student loans. 1%. That less than 1%. Only less than 1%. $1 billion. That means we still have $1.69 trillion left. So, again, is this a good step in the right direction? Sure, but I'm not sure that it completely is. And my thought is we shouldn't be celebrating because they're just trying to do what's right by Big Pharma and not the people of India and South Africa or the United States. And that just shows you how much Big Pharma owns our politicians.